You don't even remember opening the app, do you? Your thumb just moved, and suddenly, you're here again, scrolling. Another reel, another face, another piece of content you'll forget by tonight. But pause for a second. What exactly are you looking for? We all tell ourselves the same story, that scrolling is harmless, that we're just passing time, but that's a lie. You're not just scrolling through videos, you're scrolling through your own restlessness, through your loneliness, through your need to not feel. This is not about your phone, this is about your mind. Welcome to I Think Now. Let's talk about the psychology behind your scrolling habit and what it's really saying about you. It's scary how fast it happens. The phone vibrates, your body twitches. You pick it up before you even think. That's not attention, that's reflex. Your brain has been trained to chase micro rewards, tiny drops of dopamine, little sparks of anticipation that whisper, maybe this next video will make me feel something. Not happy, not satisfied, just something. And that's enough to keep you hooked. The dopamine isn't released when you find something good, it's released when you expect something good. That's why you can scroll for hours and still feel empty. It's not pleasure you're chasing, it's the hope of it. You think you're choosing what to watch, but every swipe, every pause, every flick of your thumb feeds an algorithm that knows you better than you know yourself. It doesn't just predict what you'll like, it shapes what you'll want. Your personality is being edited in real time, quietly rewritten by what you consume. The algorithm doesn't show you the world, it builds a mirror, one that reflects back your cravings, fears, and insecurities, until you mistake that reflection for reality. And that's how control disappears, not with force, but with comfort. Most people don't scroll because they're entertained. They scroll because they're avoiding something. That slight discomfort before bed, that awkward silence in the elevator, that heavy quiet where you'd have to actually feel what's inside you. Your brain says, I don't like this emotion. And your thumb says, don't worry, I'll distract you. We call it boredom, but it's not boredom, it's avoidance. Because deep down, we're terrified of stillness. Stillness forces you to meet yourself, and most people would rather face the infinite scroll than face their own thoughts. You scroll to connect, but somehow, the more connected you are, the lonelier you feel. You see hundreds of faces every day, but none of them actually see you. We've mistaken visibility for intimacy, likes for love, comments for conversation. And the tragedy is, we're surrounded by people, yet living in emotional isolation. Your phone gives you the illusion of company, but never the warmth of it. You're sipping connection through a digital straw and wondering why you're still thirsty. Somewhere along the way, you stopped living moments and started performing them. Every sunset, every thought, every coffee cup became potential content. You've started thinking like a brand, feeling like a product, because deep down, your brain has learned that validation equals safety. And when that validation lives online, your peace of mind depends on engagement metrics. It's not your fault. We're social animals, wired to seek approval. But the danger lies in mistaking algorithmic applause for genuine human connection. When you measure your worth by attention, you'll never feel enough. Have you ever looked up from your phone and realized an hour is gone? That's not bad memory. That's time distortion. Social media keeps your mind in a low-grade trance. Constant novelty, constant stimulation. Your brain can't track time when it's being overloaded. And when the stimulation stops, you feel that strange emptiness, the hollow exhaustion that follows mindless scrolling. That emptiness isn't laziness. It's your mind begging for silence. But instead of silence, you scroll again. Here's what no one tells you. You don't scroll for entertainment. You scroll for escape. Every notification, every post, is a momentary doorway away from reality. We used to smoke to forget. We used to drink to forget. Now we scroll. It's our modern anesthesia. Soft, endless, socially acceptable. But it numbs the same way. And every time you run from yourself, you lose a little more of who you are, because running becomes your identity. We've built a world where silence feels unbearable, where doing nothing feels like dying. But it's in those quiet moments, when the noise stops, that real thoughts appear. Ideas, feelings, truth. You don't find yourself in the scroll. You find yourself in the stillness that scrolling hides. And the reason you feel lost isn't because you don't have enough content. It's because you haven't stopped long enough to listen to your own mind. But here's the twist. You don't have to delete everything. You just have to notice. Awareness is the first act of rebellion. Next time your thumb reaches for your phone, don't judge yourself. Just watch. Ask, what am I looking for right now? Connection? Relief? Escape? That question creates a pause, a tiny window of consciousness in a world built to erase it. And in that pause, you start taking your mind back. Reclaiming your attention isn't about control, it's about freedom. Because your attention is your life. Where it goes, your mind follows. When you give your focus away to the algorithm, you're giving away the shape of your thoughts. But when you take it back, even for a few minutes, you start seeing differently. You start realizing that silence isn't empty. It's full of everything you've been avoiding. You realize that the boredom you run from is actually the birthplace of creativity, that the discomfort you scroll past is where self-awareness begins, and that the world you're trying to escape is the only place where real life happens. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, and before reaching for your phone, you just breathe. You feel the weight of the blanket, the sound of the morning, the stillness. That small act of simply being is something most people will never do again, because presence doesn't trend, stillness doesn't sell. But presence is what your soul has been starving for beneath all the noise. Scrolling makes you feel like life is happening somewhere else, but it isn't. It's happening here, now. The only thing missing is your attention. You don't need to quit scrolling. You just need to remember who's doing the scrolling. The moment you become aware of the habit, it loses its grip. Because scrolling isn't the enemy. Unconsciousness is. The real addiction isn't to your phone. It's to not being here. And once you learn to be here, fully, painfully, beautifully here, you'll see the world again, not through pixels, but through presence. So the next time your thumb hovers over that app, ask yourself, am I escaping life or am I living it? Because maybe the secret behind your scrolling habit is that you're not looking for entertainment, You're looking for yourself. This is I Think Now. If this made you stop scrolling, even for a moment, maybe that's where change begins.